Hey everybody, welcome to another video of me doing my exposure and response prevention for my choking phobia. Today I'm eating Gino's pizza and about the Coke. So sorry about the anxiety I didn't do yesterday. I just got really distracted from life, and I honestly think I've been going on the wrong path for a while, and I want to kind of maybe make some changes in my life. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about that later. So anxiety level 0 to 100. I'm really at a high level in terms of not choking anxiety, but overall anxiety at 70. So, but choking, so I'll say like 70 maybe. I know it's high. Kind of rough couple days. So tired, so exhausted. I was just very busy yesterday. I lied. My choking phobia is not at 70. I guess my overall stress level is probably around there. Maybe 60. My choking phobia is, on a scale of 0 to 100, it's 30 if that. And it's just, I'm so exhausted. I didn't eat anything yesterday except some Reese's Pieces. So I don't know if I eat a lot. I just eat a little. This is what I do to myself. You know, remember I told you in my other videos about my facilitations? Sometimes I'm like hardcore Islam, rule, order, strict, never heard of, homosexuality, versus this like permissive, just different person, or I try to do things that aren't necessarily in norm with the Islamic, tradition, and I'm getting really, really sick. At the same time, my OCPD could just be messing with me thinking, religion, so. I know these choking sensations can easily also be explained away rationally as simply body tension, especially since I haven't eaten in all day. So, guess I'll maybe have one more bite and then, document my anxiety. I tend to say this a lot. I'll have one more bite, then I'll do my anxiety. I'm just gonna finish the slice here, and I don't know why I said I'll have one more bite. I'm overthinking the situation. I'm not sure. One more bite here. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the most comfortable way to sit. Let's see. So my anxiety level now, it was 30. Let's say 0. It's a good feeling. I've had zeros before. It's just a good feeling to have that, you know what? Anxiety, you're not real. You can be treated, and you can be faced and managed. And this is an example to everyone out there who thinks their anxiety isn't real. Just take the steps I'm giving you. Write down your anxiety level before. Do the thing that makes you anxious. Write down the anxiety level after. If it's too much for you, give yourself a day, give yourself a week, and do it again. But do a thing that makes you not as anxious. For social anxiety, I would recommend going around the block once. Then going around the block twice. Right? Then maybe going in your car to a coffee shop and just having a coffee by yourself. Right? To, I don't know, a movie, to a group therapy session or something. You figure out the steps that are best for you, but there are ways to go out there. I also recommend meetup.org is good for, it's more of like dating, at least I've heard. I'm looking for more for like therapy, group therapy. But if you think, dating might help you, that's something that could help you as well. I've just never been too keen on it. I want to say therapy is my number one priority, and then dating, finding someone nice, but we gotta admit they do go hand in hand. They're almost intertwined. So it's good to have a feeling of anxiety of 0. It really is. I feel good about that. And I really want to eat more, but I know my my body needs to kind of rest before I eat more, so what I'm going to do here is basically and the exposure. I might eat somewhere later. If you guys want some, just tell me your address and I'll mail you a slice. If you guys like extra cheese and chicken. Right. So a couple things I wanted to talk about. One, with OCPD, I'm just so a religious. I remember I began this video by saying I think I'm going on the wrong path. I want to make more videos about or I want to start doing more things like praying and staying away from bad influences and actions, and basically trying to be more reformed. At the same time, I wonder to myself, how do I fit in? Right? How do I fit in? How do I fit into a Muslim society, a Canadian society, where you see the kids nowadays, they're very close-knit and everything, but homosexuality is something that causes a great deal of concern for people. They don't want to talk about it. It's under the rug. People are in denial. I've heard horror stories of people kicking kids out in the Muslim, families in the Indian subcontinent simply because they were this way. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with Pakistani culture. All I can basically say, I think, is that they think they're less than people for some reason, because I guess Pakistani culture, Muslim culture is very family oriented, very how can we service God or service society, service culture, and they just don't think homosexuality is a way to further society. It's you're basically, right, you're not reproducing. So yeah, I remember a person close to me even told me that recently. And I'm like, well, have you ever heard of adoption? I mean, in vitro fertilization. And he was like, oh, what is this and everything. So it's just the whole modern world against the ancient world clashing, and how it causes a lot of problems. Second thing I wanted to talk about was sometimes when I eat, I don't eat in Islam we have things called halal, which is kind of like kosher. And I used to not eat halal, and then I started eating halal, and then I stopped again, and then I started again, and now I'm stopping again. And I realized it's I really got to stick with things. I feel less anxious when I don't eat halal food. I don't know why. It's my OCPD. I'm thinking I've made a deal with the devil, and he's going to help me with my anxiety for a little bit because I'm not remembering God or something. Now, I know that's ridiculous, but to just say it out loud feels good. Because the thought, you really come to face with the ridiculousness of your thoughts, of basically of your life in a way. I'm being kind of harsh to myself, I think, but it's true. You come into the ridiculousness of your life. You're 32 and you basically have no marriage prospects. You live alone, and you make YouTube videos about your choking phobia. No, but what I mean to say is that's basically what I mean to say. So these, cultural issues are really hard to get into. Because, my mom has her own life. She doesn't talk to me. I've explained before about our strained relationship. And my dad, he's very old. So he's very traditional. He's looking more on, traditional values. So it could be worse with a lot of other people. Having said that, this is a predicament I'm in. I'm gonna have one more bite just because I'm still kind of hungry. I'm not gonna finish the slice, but I might just finish the slice off camera later. I'm just gonna have one bite, talk a little more at the end of the video. So Honestly, that was a mix of me just being hungry and wanting to do an exposure. It wasn't just full, oh, I gotta do an exposure because of psychology. So, I'll be honest. Sometimes this isn't the only meal I eat in the day. Sometimes, you know, I think I could fantasize. A girl could fantasize about going to a convenience store, you know, seeing that big hot thing, just sitting there glistening, looking all alone. So you come up next to it, and you can feel it. And the guy's like, what'll it be? And I'll say, a Snickers bar. So, you know, I'm not sure. Maybe I should eat the third slice. It's because I'm hungry and I don't know. I'm gonna have one more bite of it actually. Yeah. And also the obsessional disorders. You mentioned this earlier. The anxiety or the obsession goes to a different place. I mean, it would go from me avoiding food, right? Then if I conquer that, it would go to just a general feeling of just worry, and it could get better, but you still have the obsessional thoughts. You're going to come, not necessarily with choking, but like just food in general phobia. You start getting scared around food. You start getting scared when people start eating food in a restaurant. You wouldn't feel comfortable because you would think they're going to choke because of something I'm doing. So, you know, this is my video, and I'm just showing you guys, you know, my anxiety level went down to 0. So much so I actually had 2 more bites I wasn't really planning on having. And your anxiety is lying to you. If you slowly, in manageable steps, you know, experience it. And I mean try to experience it. Not just do like for like a second. Your social phobia, you know, you have social anxiety, so you step outside your door and look outside. No. You need to really take a deep whiff and look around and see if there's a neighbor you could see. Right? And be prepared for reactions with people. You know? Same with the food, same thing. People are the food. So. Okay, we're gonna end it here. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. And you guys remember, you guys can do this. You guys can do this. This is doable. I was at 70 before. I've been hitting zeros the past few days. It's possible. Okay? And if you believe in God, whatever, have faith as well. If you don't, just remember, you can do it. You're worth it. Okay? You can do this. Just work the steps. Okay. See you tomorrow. Bye.